All right, my deep dive. I just want to know who you guys think the ideal candidates for the musical chairs that is going to be the 6 job openings in the NFL at head coach. I'll just give mine to rip. So we got the Bears, Jags, Jets, Raiders, Pats, Saints, Bears. I don't know if you like this one, Kyle, but I think Brian Flores is the ideal to set that building straight.
That's
Mike Vrabel, not necessarily the best one, but just how
I'm asking.
The way you asked.
No, I'm saying, is that what's gonna? Is that his prediction?
This is like
is that his prediction, or is that what's?
I'm not
best?
saying like what's the best one.
I trust Mike.
Because I'd say like Ben Johnson's the best one.
If you say Brian Flores is the best one, I will be on Twitter.
Makes a lot of sense.
I will be on
Brian
Twitter
Flores
today leading the efforts to get Brian Flores to be the head coach.
Because he will, one, set the tone from top, like change the organizational culture immediately. They have so much talent there in that defense that they would be a top 3 defense. Like they'd be right back at the top of the heap.
Get my Twitter going.
And we saw how he what he did with Tua. I do think like getting Caleb Williams, his comments at times throughout the season were just a little flaky, shall we say. I think he would put that quarterback room just on notice about what has to happen going forward. Caleb, I think, would respond to that.
This is the thing. This is what I would say about this, right? Just listening to Brian Flores after Tua publicly came out, talked about how hurt he was in that scenario. If a coach told you every day how bad you sucked, you shouldn't be here. Sound like he's grown a lot from that scenario. Now, I don't know if you guys saw this. Ryan Fitzpatrick, he has a podcast. He went out and talked about it and said, essentially, buyers beware when it comes to Brian Flores because, yes, he may have grown when he was a Vikings, but Fitzpatrick was there with him in Miami, and he saw the day-to-day, and he saw how he berated Tua. And then he said it almost felt like at times that Flores didn't even listen to his staff, and it all became about him, right? So you worry about that. Now, again, I'm one that always says people can learn and grow, right? And I think everybody deserves a second chance. And listening to the Viking players speak so highly about Brian Flores makes me think that he has grown.
They go to the podium with him.
Exactly, that he has grown from that scenario. So I actually don't mind that. I just say it's a interesting scenario because it's kind of like the Tua scenario, right? Like Tua had a lot of talent coming in. Caleb has a lot of talent coming in. And the way that Brian Flores tried to get the best out of Tua obviously doesn't work. And that's why
nature versus nurture.
Yes, that's why each coach has to have a temperature on the team and each individual player, because you need to know how to exactly push your player to get the best out of them.
I agree with you that they need somebody to come in and reset that culture.
Yeah.
What you were just saying reminds me of it's nature versus nurture. And some kids require nature and some kids require nurture. Some players require
some
nature.
need to be cuddled a little
Let's
bit.
Let's not forget that the Miami Dolphins ran Vic Fangio out of town as well.
Yeah.
And it almost seems like that organization isn't ready for some real football talk. You know what I'm saying? Whether it's a quarterback or the deep. You said it, not me. Okay, so I like that. Brian Flores. I on my list is also Vrabel, but there's so many options now with Brady being in Las Vegas, the Patriots, the Jets. I could see Vrabel being in any of those spots.
Yeah.
The nurture side of things, if nature is Brian Flores and Mike Vrabel, then the nurture would be Ben Johnson.
Correct.
Because you would need somebody to
I've seen him a little spicy on the sidelines
he's
too.
Spicy. We haven't gotten enough of Ben Johnson.
Yeah, so we don't actually know what he would be like.
So that's the mystery box in COD Zombies. It's like you could get the ray gun. Ray gun would be nice.
Jags, Ben Johnson. That one just
Home run.
But is it though? Because Trent Baalke stayed as GM. Did you guys see that interview with him?
Yeah, we talked about it.
Yes. So he could be out. Ben
Johnson says, I think if you're hiring Ben Johnson, you're letting Ben Johnson call the free shots.
Yeah.
So.
Well, they said supposedly
right over
the head
Trent's
coach
head.
will talk directly to ownership.
Yes.
Which
great situation there, right?
I don't know if I like that dynamic.
Yeah, right. Exactly how you want it to set up. Just the GM's a figurehead. Jets, Aaron Glenn.
My guy.
Perfect.
I think it's just perfect way to reset where the Jets are. Again, Ben Johnson's not going to want to go. They're going to have to get a culture fit for a guy to, again, reset the culture for the New York Jets.
And a guy that was there, first round pick, two-time Pro Bowler there.
The guy who would want to come to New York and turn it around. He's the guy. Raiders, this was a pipe dream, but Liam Cohen, you have the Tampa Bay Bucks connection with Tom Brady. Would he want to go there? I don't know. He could obviously come back and still have success. They have a lot of talent there offensively. He'd have another good offense. He's going to have his pick of jobs at some point in time if they keep going this way. So what do you want to? But it's pipe dream. That's their best bet. Pats, Mike Vrabel, no argument there, like no debate there. That is probably going to happen here shortly.
I'll say in the next couple hours.
Yeah. Saints, I went Clint Kubiak. I think what he did with what finished the season as the worst pass blocking offensive line in the NFL, according to PFF, to even have a modicum of good offense, I thought I was impressed with how he put it together. And again, you're the New Orleans Saints. No one's going to want to come there. You're in such a bad spot from a cap perspective.
Man.
You are this year's lame duck job where you could be gone after 1 year if you go take that job. It just because
Unless
no one's going to want to go
within.
there. So that's why if you go from within, keep
harvest
things, keep on the track.
They got to reset it though.
Of the one thing that kind of worked last year for you. I do know you have to reset, but I think you reset when it's like completely clean slate.
Yeah.
They're still like maybe even 2 years away from getting a clean slate there in terms of
Because
getting all those bad contracts off the books.
I think they got to eat a lot of that this year and just play with a lot of young guys. Essentially what Denver did. Right?
Yeah.
I like that one because for some odd reason, people are trying to push Aaron Glenn there. Yes, he played there, but he's known as a Jet. Like,
I would not.
He would. And to your
him.
point, like the situations are a lot different because they have no cap room. Where the Jets are probably going to get a significant boost when they get Devontae off the books and also Aaron Rodgers off the books.
There's
as well.
a chance things turn around.
So like they can turn things around. Like Tyrod could be a good bridge quarterback. He's actually had a lot of success in this league.
Tyrod's a really good
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So like if you're Aaron Glenn, like, and you look at just the talent alone, you're like, New York makes a lot more sense than going to New Orleans. And this is not me, throwing shade at New Orleans, but this is what happens when you continue to kick the can down the road. But there is one thing I wanted to talk to you guys about because we were talking about this earlier. Vrabel got fired last year. It's so funny how the league works, right? Because the man couldn't even get an interview last year. And I talked about this ad nauseum because guys like him and Bill Belichick, I felt like the game had passed them by, and the way that they like to coach and the way they like to develop and the culture that they bring in. Is it conducive to some of these young guys coming into the league? And it's funny now because all of a sudden he's the hottest coach candidate when last year the man couldn't even get an interview. What changed is my question.
Yeah.
Newfound appreciation. What's it?
People are putting a premium on culture now.
Nostalgia.
We talk about culture. Culture is one of those words that you can say it till you're blue in the face. Yeah. But when you see your stars on the team pointing fingers and guys checked out in the media and the answers in the reporters, and you're in a town like New York, you need somebody who's going to keep it together, which is why the Rex Ryan stuff doesn't even drive me crazy because he's the last guy.
The culture right there.
He did it for 5 years in a row. I mean, that guy was the last one who could do it. And I mean, while the game has advanced and moved down the road a bit, the one thing that will never change is the ability to get 53 guys on the same page, ready to execute a mission. And you played there with Rex.
Yeah, it's my guy.
I mean, you can echo those sentiments, I'm sure.
Without a doubt. I love Rex. I would be real interested to see would he be okay taking a DC job, because I think when you've been out of the game that long, I'm not saying the game is passing by, but I would love to see him be a DC, and maybe, a year or two down the road, if he wants to be a head coach, you have another opportunity. But the Vrabel thing is interesting to me because, yes, you can change the culture, but his biggest issue is that he didn't want to evolve the offense in Tennessee, and that's why they were left behind. So, what has changed since then to make teams be like, he's the hottest candidate out there right now? It's not no shade at Mike Vrabel, but it's just like, unless he's willing to evolve, he's going to be in the same scenario 2 or 3 years from now.
Well, I think it's the Titans going 3-14 that changed. It was, they saw that, hey, they had so much this roster and they sucked even worse. It's like, I think that was the thing is that,
but they weren't good the year before. There's a
newfound appreciation for how he cobbled things together there, how they even got the 1 seed in the first place that 1 year with, Ryan Tannehill wasn't even in the league this year.
Guys rave about him.
I heard he's a great coach, and people always just assume like he's a minion of Bill Belichick, but he coached on the Bill O'Brien, which again is a tree off of Bill Belichick. He just played at the Patriots, but again, the year he got fired, they weren't good. Right? They were a top team. They picked in the top 10 for a reason.
But it's also, I think, for certain teams. I wouldn't want him for the Jags. I wouldn't want him for the Saints. I would want him for a team like the Pats is, I think, the front runner because obviously like the way they do business, they want
makes sense for sure.
Pats for life sort of people. That's what they want as a franchise. So I think for them, Like, I don't even know if I'd want him for the Jets, truthfully. So
that's what I've been saying. I was like, I do think it makes sense.
Bears, because they just need top-down leadership in any way, shape, or form, and that's what you can get from Mike Vrabel. Yes, so
for lack of a better term, I mean,
yeah.
I remember when my mom used to be with all three of us boys on the weekend, and Dad would be working at Fox.
Yeah.
These studio gigs, you're gone all day
for sure,
and we'd be acting a fool.
And Dad
would come home and
stops
and attention. You know what I mean?
Stops.
And God bless my mom. She was amazing, a saint. But at the end of the day, Dad came into that front door, and the boys were straight.
I would just worry about Caleb's development with Vrabel, and again, it's not me throwing shade at Vrabel
with him.
Exactly. Who is going to be the guy on the offensive side? Like, can he maybe lure Liam Cohen away or Bill O'Brien? But Bill O'Brien's, I think he's comfortable with Boston College as a head coach right now. So it's just like that would be my concern.
But what do you want to work with Caleb Williams?
Because you talked about
and then play his way into.
I don't know, because you talked about it in Tannehill, but he was already a veteran, like in there, right? Mm-hmm. He had Will Levis. And at times, it seemed like he didn't even like Will Levis by some of the videos, right, that they were playing. Even when Will Levis played well, it was like he couldn't stand him. So it's just like, how is that going to be with Caleb? You know what I'm saying? Because I don't think he really wants a young quarterback.
He doesn't play that dumb shit.
Yeah. Which, if he goes to the Patriots, he's going to have a young quarterback. Yeah. So.
But I think he's, people think he's different.
Yeah, Drake's definitely different.